Well, hi everybody. What a beautiful day in East County. I look out the window up here at Alpine, probably high 60s, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. Why do we live in East County? Look out the window. This is Steve Dolan here with you, along with Ramon Scott on a Monday morning. Thanks so much for being with us. Ramon, as you know, over the weekend, Padres beat the Giants 2 out of 3. We got the Pittsburgh Pirates coming in town this week. So a lot going on with the Padres. What's your take on what's happening right now?
Well, you mentioned how beautiful a day it was, and well, the day turned a little south. The weather turned a little south yesterday, kind of in the middle of the game. We got a little sprinkle in the game, and it rained on the Padres a little bit. We had a chance to move into a tie, I think, for first place, but we did win this series over the Giants, Steve. So job accomplished, I would say. Didn't look like we were ever going to get a sweep the way we started that game. And after that home run off of Joe, no big deal. Take 2 out of 3 from the Giants, show them who's boss, and get ready to play our rivals, the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? I mean, we play these guys. Are these guys in our division?
No, actually, Moni, it's funny you say that. It seems like it. You know, you bring up an interesting point. Scheduling to me is weird. The Padres, after Wednesday, the 3-game series here against Pittsburgh, they're done with the Pirates for the year. Look at the Padres and the Giants. They've already played 6 games against each other. This coming weekend, they play 3 in San Francisco. They will have played 9 of their 19 games against each other, so virtually half their games 5 weeks into the season. But get this, Moni. The Padres and the Giants, after this weekend, they don't play again until September 13th. They go 4 months without playing each other, and then they play 10 of their last 19 games against each other. Now, I'll tell you what, I would not want to be the schedule maker for Major League Baseball. It would just put me in circles. But how the Padres played 9 against the Giants right away and 10 against them at the end, but nothing in almost all of May and certainly June, July, and August. I don't get the schedule, but what I do get is that this is going to be a good division. I mean, I look at the standings now. Like I say, the Giants are in first place. Dodgers are half game out. Padres are a game and a half out. Arizona's only 2 out. And, of course, the Rockies, they're 7 out heading south. But what I will say about the standings, Moni, and I've always said this, I really start looking at the standings about June 15th. That's when it matters. It's so early right now. All I can say is on June 15th, you still want to be in a position where you've got a good enough record to where you can make a 3.5-month run and get in the playoffs. And I'm sure that's what the Padres are going to do. So, again, as you know, I mean, last week, 5 days ago, they were in 4th place. Now they're in 3rd. They got up to 2nd. Doesn't matter what place you're in right now. Just stay in the race until June 15th and then go from there.
Yeah, and I'll change the tone here in the first week of May, Steve. Things have changed a little bit from all the optimism. I mean, yes, the Padres are still – regarded as one of the top teams in baseball and are expected to contend for the division title and National League title and even the World Series. They're one of the best teams out there. But given this pitching situation for the Padres and their top rival, the Dodgers, this is a whole new it changes things a little bit. I think there's a little bit of optimism for the teams behind the Padres and Dodgers as well. Some key injuries, and they continue to happen right now. And I don't know where is the end? Where's the end in this? I mean, Dustin May with his injury for the Dodgers. I mean, that's going to be a key injury if he misses any time. It sounds like it could be something of a concern given the nature of what he described, the shooting sensation in his forearm, elbow area. We don't want to speculate. Hopefully Dustin will be okay, but all these injuries are changing things a little bit. It's just fortunate for the Padres that they have so much depth, not only in the pitching ranks, but in the field as well. And that's why they're going to continue to be a contender. But I don't think that even the mighty Dodgers are the overwhelming favorite. The odds might say they are, but I think realistically, as baseball people, anything can happen, right? And I don't think that the Dodgers or the Padres are quite the favorites that they were just a month ago.
Yeah, I agree. And, Moni, I just say this half jokingly. If the Milwaukee Brewers were in the NL West, maybe they'd be the favorite because they swept the Padres 3 games here after the Padres played the Dodgers. They beat the Dodgers 3 straight until, Dodgers beat Milwaukee 16-4 yesterday with 2 grand slams. You just never know. As I say, it's a long season. And what's funny, after every 3 game series, people's emotions really change where the Padres are. Just like this past weekend, the Padres win Friday and Saturday night. Going in, we said, hey, if they can beat the Giants 2 out of 3, that'd be great. You've already beaten them twice. So all of a sudden, you're not going to be satisfied with 2 out of 3. And then yesterday's game, got my scorecard here, just went totally south. So, but winning 2 out of 3 against the Giants was great. And you mentioned, of course, the pitching situation with the Padres. Normally, you'd have Chris Paddock tonight, Ryan Weathers tomorrow. Chris Paddock is on what's called the medical list. The speculation is that he tested positive for COVID, and I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's been the speculation. It certainly seems like whenever a guy goes on the medical list, so don't know when Paddock's coming back. Miguel Diaz starts tonight's game. He's been at the alternate side. He has been pitching 3 or 4 innings there, so hopefully he can go 3 or 4 innings tonight. Tomorrow night, maybe Ryan Weathers, maybe Dinelson Lamet. Supposedly, they both had good bullpen sessions before yesterday's game. We'll see. Maybe Chris Paddock comes off that injured list tomorrow. Who knows? The only thing I can tell you for sure is Yu Darvish pitches Wednesday for the Padres. You can count on Yu Darvish. His last 4 starts, he's gone 7 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings, 6 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run in each. So is Yu Darvish the ace of this staff? Absolutely, yes. But is this staff kind of in a mess right now going into the Pirate series? Yes, it is.
Right. We expect Darvish to start that game, but I think if you looked, I think on the notes yesterday, Steve, it said the next 3 days were TBD for the Padres starting pitching. Yeah. Now we're at that point of the season where on the overnight list, several teams weren't sure who was going to start following this wacky weekend. So cut everybody some slack there. But yes, this is a problem right now. For the Padres, and only thing that's going to heal them right now is time. So we'll just have to see moving forward. But Diaz back pitching for the Padres first time in a couple of years, and or starting right for Miguel. And here's the thing. I mean, we talk about the depth, but and we could include all the arms, but it's not necessarily where the team wanted to be. Having to start Miguel Diaz, in a first game of a series in May. So this is where we're at. It's not the best situation, but it's early yet. Still, like you said, you talk about getting a couple months into the season, but right now it is a concern moving forward. But fortunately, everything else is working out pretty good. The offense is starting to perk up again a little bit. Yesterday's game notwithstanding.
Yeah, and going back to the pitching, Moni, real quick, with Diaz pitching tonight, my guess is that Craig Stammen will be in there somewhere because Stammen's become somewhat of a long man. I also will Chrismat will come up from the alternate side because he can give you innings. With Diaz, Stammen, and if Chrismat comes back up tonight, you can maybe get 7 innings out of those 3 guys. Here's something, though, that kind of concerns me about baseball, and it's been going on for a long time, are guys who go up and down, like Chrismat has, or Aaron Northcraft will. Okay, yesterday, Aaron Northcraft pitched the 8th and 9th innings. He only threw 11 pitches in the 8th inning, so he went to 9th when they're down 7-1. He ended up throwing 45 pitches. So whenever a guy who's kind of one of your marginal pitchers does that, it's really unfortunate because he bit the bullet for the team yesterday. They were going to leave him out there no matter what because they didn't want to waste another arm. But sadly now, I would bet you Northcraft goes down today. I'm kind of getting tired of seeing every time these guys throw 40, 45 pitches in a game who, again, are kind of your marginal roster guys, so they have to go to the alternate side. We used to have a guy here named Kevin Quackenbush. I bet one year he went up 6, 7, 8 times. I don't know if it's fair to those guys or not, because think about it, we've all traveled. Think about what it's like just hopping on an airplane. And these guys going back and forth, now to Peoria, Arizona, and now it's going to be El Paso because the minor league season starts this week. Yeah. Probably AAA team there. So, again, tonight it'll be interesting what they do. Tomorrow will be very interesting. It's probably going to be Lamet or Weathers or maybe Paddock. If it's not one of those 3, they're in trouble. And Jace Tingler did say after the game that Yu Darvish will pitch Wednesday, so we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the minor league season's starting, albeit a bit delayed. But again, I think that the nature of baseball right now, the fragile nature of their careers, it's starting to look like football a little bit with these guys and their shortened careers right now. So I don't know what the solution is. Baseball has a lot of issues and problems, but we're not divorcing it. We're still there all the way with baseball. And Steve, when we get into the series with the Pirates this week for the Padres, I think it's not only going to be about trying to grab these home wins, but just get through it without any more damage. Look, we have a solid lineup day in and day out, and we just got to get through these months now, and hopefully the Dodgers don't get out too far ahead of us. But again, like I said, the injury bug has bitten them a little bit too. So I think that's a bit of an equalizer. So even if you see these other teams, you mentioned the Giants, you mentioned the Rockies, nothing's for certain right now. It's just got to go out there and play every day and give it your best because, it's not a pennant race or anything. This is almost the dog days. You just got to go out there and grind.
And Moni, the National League West, the only safe bet to me right now would be that Colorado finishes last. Because I think in the National League, the two worst teams probably are the Rockies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, a few days ago, you could have said Pittsburgh, which comes in for a 3-game series tonight. Oh, they're playing well. They were 12-11. The Pirates have lost 4 straight. They got swept over the weekend for the series against the Cardinals. The thing about Pittsburgh, they could very well lose 100 games this year. So if you're the Padres, remember last Friday when we talked, we said a good homestand would be 2 out of 3 against the Giants, sweeping the Pirates. Padres really do need to sweep the Pirates because they're not going to see the Pirates again this year. I mean, the funny thing about young teams like the Pirates, they often start out doing pretty well on adrenaline, and then when talent kicks in as the season goes on, not so well. So really for the Padres, it's imperative that they win at least 2 out of 3, and they really should sweep this team. Let's look at the pitchers for Pittsburgh. Okay, tonight, Diaz goes against Tyler Anderson, who's 2-2. Tuesday, whoever goes against Mitch Keller, who's 1-3. Wednesday, Yu Darvish goes against JT Brubaker, who's 2-2. You're good on odds. I would guess, I know tonight the Padres aren't quite a 2-1 favorite, but I would guess, especially when Darvish pitches, they will be. So, again, this is a series, that the Padres really, really, really need to take at least 2 out of 3 and preferably a sweep.
Well, I'm sure they'll be favorites in all 3 of those games. The only thing that I'm bringing to you this week on the odds board to share with you, Steve, and maybe I can get a reaction from you on this, was this morning I saw some odds to win the Major League Home Run title. And my goodness, who is the favorite? Now, granted, everybody on that list is about between 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because the home run race is kind of interesting right now. But Tatis is currently the favorite to win the home run chase, given his start and maybe the trajectory of some of his home runs. We know he can smash it deep and long, but how about the pop fly, the home run in a phone booth? We always said, that Petco porch was built for some of these left-handers maybe to reach it, but Tatis stuck his bat out and lifted a high pop-up that landed out in the right field extension.
Yeah, exactly. That was interesting. Tatis's home run yesterday. But when they say Tatis to win the home run title, you know what that tells me? It tells me that people think he will be healthy for the rest of the season. Let's hope so. When you said that, I was going to guess maybe J.D. Martinez of the Red Sox would be the pick, but I'm glad to hear it's Tatis. It's interesting because out in right field, it's only 322 feet. People call it the Petco porch. I've always called it the jury box. It looks like one of those boxes that the jury sits in. And, it's funny because the first person I ever saw hit a home run into the jury box way back when Petco opened in 2004 was a right-handed batter. He was a left-handed pitcher named Randy Johnson of the Diamondbacks. So, if you're smart, at Petco, if you can hit the ball down the right field line, right down the right field line, that's the best place to hit a home run, obviously, but, easier said than done. And, again, I'm glad that people are thinking that about Tatis because it's saying that they think he's going to be healthy. I know I heard on MLB radio this morning on Sirius Radio, they had Padres manager Jace Tingler on. And the thing he said about Tatis that's impressed him the most lately has been his defense, not just that great rolling catch yesterday, but the fact that he's fielding the ball better and throwing the ball better, because those were really the two concerns. And now all of a sudden it looks like you don't hear all the talk about Tatis's defense the last few games, and that's where he really needed to improve, and that's where he really has improved.
Yeah, I don't know. We bagged on the Padres defense, but certainly the numbers were swayed because of the excessive amount of errors that Tatis has made. But overall, the defense has actually been pretty good and in a lot of cases spectacular. I've been one to make fun of the Padres a little bit and all these position switches and it wasn't a perfect diving catch, but our guy, Profar, the fans guy, right? Everyone, he's the fan. Yes, Tatis is the face of the franchise, and Manny is our rock. But the fans guy this year is Jurickson Profar. He looks like the guy that's having the most fun out there, even more than Fernando, right? When he made that diving catch, maybe it wasn't a perfect route, but that's something that Profar has worked so hard on is his routes to the ball. And he got there in enough time. It's one of those catches, Steve, even in my 50s, being someone who can make a diving catch still out of the ball field, all right? Sometimes you extend and that ball is actually past your glove, and you got to get that extra shove with your arm, and that's what it looked like what happened to Profar. He ran and got it, and he was a little bit behind the ball and had to extend his hand, extend his arm to make sure he got that catch. And what a catch it was out there yesterday in right center field.
Oh, yeah, it was outstanding. I mean, they said, when they do the analytics, the probability of catching it was 30%. And the one thing to remember about Profar, he's an infielder. He was always an infielder until the Padres put him out in left field last year when Tommy Pham got hurt. And as you know, when I say this, but one of the things, there's a lot of concerns on the Padres. Okay, the last few starts for Joe Musgrove, ever since the no-hitter, I mean, he's not pitching bad, but, he had pitched, when he did, after the no-hitter, he pitched 31 straight shutout innings. Since then, let's look at his 4 starts since then. In Pittsburgh, he pitched 4 innings, gave up 1 run on 4 hits, but he threw 81 pitches in 4 innings. You didn't expect him to go very far in that game after the no-hitter. Then the next game against Milwaukee, he was outstanding. He had 13 strikeouts in 7 innings. But then last Sunday, 8 days ago against the Dodgers, 3 innings. He only gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, but he threw 77 pitches, so they took him out of the game. And then yesterday he goes 6 innings, gives up 5 runs, 4 earned, and he made an error on a bunt. We've seen that before where, the bunt back to the pitcher and he tries to, throw it too quickly on a sacrifice bunt. Joe's great. He's a great pitcher and all, but lately his last 3 or 4 starts haven't been as crisp. Obviously he's not going to pitch like he did in that no-hitter every game, but there's been a difference. I mean, the game in Pittsburgh, I thought excusable because it was right after his no-hitter. Also, his mom and sister were back there helping him move out of his house. So not only was he pitching on regular rest, but again, he's moving out of a house. He's coming off a no-hitter. So a lot going on there. But I know Joe's going to turn around. But right now, Joe is in a little bit of a slump for Joe because Joe's a great pitcher right now. Things just aren't going quite as well as they normally do for him.
Yeah, I would say that Joe would be a candidate for some regression. I mean, maybe at the pinnacle of his career statistically and ability-wise as far as the numbers that he's putting up, so I will cut him some slack there. I was look, Steve, we're just watching the game here. I mean, these guys are professional athletes. They have professional coaching staffs. The approach that Musgrove took against the Giants was unusual. He continued for someone who has, kind of relied so much on that on non-fastballs. He was kind of riding pitches away a little bit, I thought, to the Giants. Maybe a little bit too much. He's really a thinking man's pitcher out there. He approaches every game with almost a new strategy, if you will, like he's, going to be analytical about each lineup and maybe not sometimes relying on what works best for you and just, making hitters hit your pitches. So I thought yesterday that Joe was maybe they had the wrong approach. That's just some layman's guess, watching what happened in the game, watching that big home run and the way it went down. So, maybe maybe he just goes about the approach a little overthinking it. I don't know. Maybe it just seemed like yesterday we made the Giants look pretty good.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we talk about the Padres pitching, I will say, obviously, like I said earlier, Yu Darvish is the guy you can count on every game to get you 6, 7 innings and maybe give up one run. I'd still say Joe is the Padres' second most reliable pitcher as far as going deep. Because as you know, Saturday night, Blake Snell got his first win. Everybody said finally he got his first win, but look at the other side. He hasn't lost a game yet either in his decisions. He's 1-0 now. But look at Snell on Saturday night in 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 91 pitches in 5 innings. That's just always been his bugaboo, that he throws too many pitches. And as you know, if you hear him interviewed, I mean, he cracks me up. I don't know if you were watching the game yesterday. I was doing statistics for Valley Sports San Diego, being blessed every game to do that for Don Orsillo and Mark Grant, the greatest announcers in Major League Baseball. But the thing about Blake Snell, if you heard his interview yesterday, man, we were just cracking up. This guy is just funny. I mean, he'll talk your ear off. I liked one thing that he said, too. He said, early in my career, I didn't say much to the media. But then as time went on, I realized, be good to the media, because if you're good to them, they're going to be good to you. And, that's so true. It's just like, for instance, yesterday, our great friend, Bernie Wilson with the Associated Press, who lives out here in East County in El Cajon, KUSI News had him on talking about Junior Seau having, tragically died 9 years ago. And Bernie talked about that same thing, about how Junior had just been so good with the press, called everybody buddy. And I'm not saying Blake Snell's not Junior Seau in San Diego. He's not a San Diego and all that. But he's got that Junior Seau in him, and that he's good to the media. He's good to people. Yeah, he did say something stupid last year before the season started about about money. We all make mistakes. Man, if I was called for one bad thing I said in my life, there's a lot of those things. We all do that. But Blake Snell, I mean, anytime he's interviewed, man, he just cracks us up.
Well, he's a quirky personality, and this team has great chemistry. So I think he fits in with all these guys, and they look like they're having fun, and that's going to be important, especially for some if there's any downturns. But right now, like I said, Steve, the offense looking up a little bit. Grisham really starting to heat up. Maybe Pham is getting some kind of heat going in that bat, and poor Manny. I mean, as well as he's done, I mean, he's really hitting in some tough luck. So his stock will certainly rise if he just continues to swing the bat like he is. No one is hitting the ball harder in the major leagues than Manny Machado, and no one is making more outs on hard hit balls than Manny Machado. So that's a good thing. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out for him. And of course, I mentioned how good our defense has been. We made fun of the errors that Fernando had, and rightfully so. But Manny, Gold Glove over there if it wasn't for Arenado. But maybe this year Manny can shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, like you say, Manny, I mean, he's hitting the ball hard. Maybe he's only batting .234 with 4 home runs, but especially Moni, in a 6-month season when you play 162 games, things are going to even out. When things even out, remember last year he had a slower start, and then all of a sudden everything started falling. Home runs, of course, they're going to fall. He was third in the National League MVP voting, and I mean, Manny's like the weather. He gets warmer as the year goes on. He'll really heat it up during the summer, I believe. And it's funny, going back, you mentioned Trent Grisham and Tommy Pham. Grisham's had, 3 straight games with 2 hits. Tommy Pham yesterday had his first 2-hit game of the year. So, maybe those guys are turning around. I mean, they're starting to hit better. So I just think that, the Padres, again, the talent's there, but I think what's going to ultimately determine everything in baseball this year, especially over a 6-month season, are 2 things. First of all, pitchers, how many innings can they go, and bullpens. The Padres can't keep using their bullpen as much as they have. And most of all, injuries. Because and again, I'm not a doctor. We always say that. Dustin May of the Dodgers, again, going back to odds, I would say the odds are more than 50-50 he won't pitch again this year after seeing him come out the way he did. I mean, whenever I see that anymore, I think Tommy John. I thought that, Adrian Morejon with the Padres a couple of weeks ago and all. So we'll see what happens. But again, nowadays when a pitcher comes out, when he throws a pitch like that and just takes himself out of the game, sadly, you think the worst. I know he's with the Dodgers, but, you want everybody to be healthy.
Yeah, was watching that game when that happened. It was a kind of a startling moment in the game, and a little bit under the radar, I think, around the rest of the league as far as his contribution. He's definitely a top-notch pitcher, and the Dodgers would miss him. Like I said, that these are things that are kind of bringing the Dodgers back to the pack a little bit, not just for us, but for the rest of the league as well. So like I said, I don't think that the Padres or the Dodgers are worthy of those preseason win totals that were so lofty, and it may end up being a grind. It may end up being a grind just to get to 90 or 95 wins. To get there. So nobody in the league really, I mean, who stands out right now, in baseball? Everybody talks about the Padres and the Dodgers. Their records are nothing necessarily to write home about. And, who are some of the best teams, the most surprising teams? Teams kind of like the Padres, right? The Brewers, the Royals, some crazy things are happening early on. That kind of happens all the time. So we'll see. Like you said, 162 games should shake it out. But I'm always glad to see small markets showing off.
Oh yeah, San Diego, like you say, San Diego, Milwaukee, Kansas City. I think right now maybe the so-called surprise team of the season is the Kansas City Royals. I think the thing is they were projected to maybe next year be a contender. I think, they're a year ahead of schedule. I really do think the Royals will stay in the race all year in the American League Central. I really do believe that. We won't see them in San Diego this year because the Padres are playing the American League West. But I'd be curious to see them. Obviously, you don't see them on TV very much, on network TV. If you've got like the MLB package or something like you do, you'll see them. But we don't see the Royals much out here, but they're a team to keep your eye on. And again, for the next 3 days, a team we're going to have to keep our eye on are the Pittsburgh Pirates. Again, are they the team that was 12-11 4 games ago, or are they the team that's lost 4 straight? Over the long haul, they'll probably be that team that's lost 4 straight. But again, the Padres are probably catching them at a pretty good time. But then again, if you're the Pirates, you're catching the Padres at a pretty good time when they have to bring Miguel Diaz up from the alternate site to pitch tonight, and when the Padres have no idea who's pitching tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes, but it's going to be that type of season. It's going to be that way, not just here in San Diego, but throughout baseball, especially with pitchers having to go from 60 games to 162. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an endurance race.
Well, look, I know that your prognostication will be let's sweep this, but I think that Tuesday game stands out to me, as more tonight, right? I mean, Diaz, we know he's I'm not remembering if he even started. I think he was he just in relief role back in 2019?
He started a game or two, but
appearances or so, right? I mean, fans will remember him once they see him pitch. They'll remember Diaz. But when you got to get through, a game like this, and then you're going in Tuesday, yes, you will have. It sounds like Weathers or Lamet. I mean, question marks around Weathers right now, as well. So I'm glad that their bullpens are going fine, and that that'd be a luxury to be able to choose between the two. I don't know, what the criteria is going to be. If it, who feels better, who feels worse, but it's not a great feeling going into that game that you don't have a set rotation. We're playing the Bucks. We should handle them, but we struggle with them a little bit, and I'm just not sure a sweep necessarily is in the cards. The Padres will be favored in all 3 games, but we're definitely going to see a lot of arms out there over the next 2 nights.
Oh, absolutely. Because like you say, tonight with Diaz for sure. And then tomorrow, the scary thing whenever Lamet or Weathers goes out there with what they've gone through injury wise, you just don't know. Moni, looking forward to it again. Just a reminder as we almost out of time. Again, Pirates in for 3 this week. Padres are off Thursday. They go to San Francisco for 3. They go to Colorado for 3. So after Pittsburgh, they stay within the division for a while. So those are going to be key games. Once again, you look forward to this 3-game series with the Pirates. Of course, all games are on Valley Sports San Diego this week. And obviously, if you can't watch that, they're on radio on 97.3 The Fan. So, Moni, thanks so much for being with me today, and I'll let you have the last words today.
Well, let's just get through this series. Let's just get through the series and get to another off day. Padres have more off days than games all of a sudden, it seems like. All right.
Yeah, after 17 in a row, yeah.
We'll catch up with you again on Friday and hopefully talk about a sweep and preview. Or Thursday.
Thursday, actually. Thursday's
Right on.
the off day.
You
So we'll
got
come back again Thursday at 11 a.m. on Facebook Live. And again, Steve Dolan along with Ramon Scott. Moni, thanks so much for being with us today.
Good night, everybody.